Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Pat of Pat's Home Craft. This video is part of the Friend Friday Hop hosted by Heidi Sonboul of Heidi Sonboul DIY. In this DIY, I'm going to create a modern farmhouse floral wall decor piece. I'm going to take this Valentine's sign that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use this moss from Walmart, and I'm going to simply tear some pieces off and hot glue them to the inside of the frame. It's a very simple procedure. It's just very, very messy. When I place the moss on the actual board and piece it together, you can't really tell where it begins and where it ends. So piecing it together is really, really easy. Just put enough hot glue and just piece it together. Now, I don't know about you, but I love cleanup time because this stuff gets everywhere. So now I'm going to take these two adorable Dollar Tree signs, and I'm going to use the little galvanized pieces. I'm going to remove all the little hardware, and I'm going to place these two succulents on top of each one. Now I do need to place the succulent to where it can hide the little holes that were where the screws went in. So I'm just simply going to hot glue down in that area with the hole, and that will cover it up, and a little bit more hot glue. And this one seemed a little too bulky at the base, so I did snip off that stem, and after placing some hot glue, I'm just gluing it down to the center, making sure to cover that little hole. And now I'm simply going to hot glue the back of this little galvanized aluminum piece to my moss frame. And now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree sign and I'm going to remove this rounded portion. I did have to use a screwdriver to slip in there to really push it out, and I liked the wording and I like the galvanized look of the sign, and so I'm just simply going to put 2 coats of black chalk paint all around the sides and the front, and after placing some hot glue, I'm just simply going to pop this on in the center, and this was really an easy project. And here you have my Keep Life Simple Modern Farmhouse floral sign. This video is part of the Friend Friday Hop. We are hopping from one channel to the next. There's a link down below in the description box for the next video in the hop. And we will each take you full circle through the hop if you just follow along by going from one link to the next in each video. Be sure to visit each one of these videos. There are so many talented DIYers in this Friend Friday Hop, bringing you their beautiful DIY projects. Our gracious host, Heidi Sonboul, has brought us all together for this wonderful Friend Friday Hop. This next DIY is a modern farmhouse take on a cutting board decor piece. I'm going to take this cutting board from Dollar Tree and I'm going to give it a total makeover. First, I'm going to apply 2 coats of ink chalk paint by Waverly. On the front side, I will only paint around the bordered edges, but the back side I will paint completely. After I've finished placing those 2 coats, then I'm going to come back with some Mod Podge and give a really good coat to seal the entire project. Now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree contact paper, and I'm going to trace out and cut a piece. I'm going to use this little stylus tool that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and it has a rounded tip, and I'm just following along the edges to create the marking of where I'll need to make my cuts. Now, after cutting it, and at first I cut on the front side, and then I realized it was easier to see the lines or the grooves through the back side. And once I've peeled the backing off, I just simply press it on. Now I'm going to take these decals from Dollar Tree also, and I'm going to cut out all the wording, and then I'm going to choose some of these really cute utensils, and lastly I will cut out these edge pieces to create some framing for my wording. I'm going to first place everything on to see exactly where I'll have each piece, and then I will peel the backing off and just try to center everything. And after placing these adorable little utensils, I will add all the edging. Now, because this is shiny with these decals, I'm going to come back with some of my super high gloss Mod Podge to completely seal everything and ensure that all of it has a shiny finish and the decals won't stand out so much. Now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree floral, and I'm going to just use some of these sprigs. After choosing some sprigs, I'm going to tie them together at one end with just some jute cord. I'm just going to wind this twine several times at the stems. And I'm going to finish that off with a little bit of hot glue to keep that twine in place. Now I'm going to take some more of that twine and I'm going to tie some at the neck of the cutting board and then wind that piece all the way around, and then leaving just enough, I'm going to secure it with hot glue first and then place a drop of hot glue to attach the sprig of greenery, which looks like herbs, and tie it off. Now this is my adorable modern farmhouse take on this beautiful cutting board decor piece. This next project will be a set of candelabra in a modern farmhouse look. I'm going to take these 3 cubes from Dollar Tree and I'm going to give 2 coats of ink chalk paint to all the sides. Then I'm going to take these little plastic trays and these little miniature cups that I found at Dollar Tree in the wedding section, and I'm going to give 2 coats also of the black chalk paint. Now I did create a candelabra very similar in the fall. If you want to check that video out, I will have it down in the description box, but I am making a new take on this. Now I'm going to take 3 of these battery operated candles and I'm going to paint just the sides with my black chalk paint. Now I'm going to take some dowel rods and I'm going to just simply cut 3 different sizes and then just sand those little edges off that are a little bit raw. And then I'm going to come back with 2 coats of black chalk paint. Now to help me dry these pieces, I am using this little wire rack that I picked up at Dollar Tree that is really helpful for drying some of my projects. Now once everything has dried, I'm going to come back with some hot glue and just hot glue the trays flipped upside down onto those wooden blocks. And now I'm going to take these dowel rods and just simply with a bead of hot glue, just secure them onto the center portion. And then coming back with the hot glue, I'm going to attach these little cups to the very tops. Now that I've secured all of these little cups to the top, I can just slip in these 3 battery operated candles. And there you have my beautiful modern farmhouse candelabra set. Let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all my upcoming videos. This next project is a set of Modern Farmhouse napkin rings. I'm going to take these 4 napkin rings that I picked up at the thrift store. They're very beautiful, but they're not very usable year-round. So I'm going to completely give them a new makeover. First, I'm going to apply 2 coats of black chalk paint. And once they've dried, then I'm going to come back with some Mod Podge and completely coat them. Now I'm going to take this contact paper from Dollar Tree and I'm going to simply cut a strip that is probably about 1/4 inch. And after measuring it out and cutting it, I'm just simply applying it or sticking it to the center of my napkin rings. Now I'm going to take this floral from Dollar Tree and I'm going to just simply cut off several of these little branches, and using 2 branches to each side, I'm going to give some floral detail. I think the greenery really adds an elegant touch to these napkin rings. Now I'm going to take a strip of glue and I'm going to hide this seam right here, and I'm going to just simply attach the 2 sets of greenery that I've created. Now I'm going to take some twine and I'm going to secure it with some hot glue and just wrap it several times around to kind of hide where the greenery meets. And I will create probably about an inch strip, or maybe a little less than an inch of the twine. If you haven't done so already, I would much appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. Now I'm going to take these adorable buttons, and they don't all match. I like the difference of the different buttons. And I'm just simply going to, with a little bit of hot glue, just place one in the center of each one of these napkin rings. And how adorable are these napkin rings now? Let me know in the comments if you like these napkin rings. If you like these projects, please give me a big thumbs up like. For this next project, I'm going to create a modern farmhouse cactus decor piece. I'm going to take this Dollar Tree cactus that I think is so adorable, and I'm going to use this bronze acrylic paint, and I'm going to give a good coat all over, and I'm going to make sure to get the sides, and I'm going to cover the entire base. Then I'm going to come back with a second coat. Now I'm going to take some painter's tape, and I'm going to mark off the top section, and I'm going to rip the tape as you see here, and I'm going to fold the edges inwards so I can also paint on the edges. I'm just going to add some black chalk paint to the top half. I think it looks bold, it looks modern. And after placing 2 coats of chalk paint, I'll let it dry, and then I'm going to come back with some white chalk paint to create a representative moon on my cactus. Now I wasn't happy with how round that was, and I wanted it a little bit larger, so I got this Coke bottle top and I just used it as a guide, and I created the circle shape, and after pulling it back I'm using some more of that white chalk paint to fill it in. The finished look is it created a beautiful crackle finish, and I loved how that looked. It was an accident, it wasn't on purpose, but I loved how it ended up, and I didn't want to change it. Now I'm going to take these 2 succulents from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use them for decor on the base. I'm going to take this one out of its little holder, and after nipping off the base or stem, it's ready to go. And now this one also, I've ripped off the bottom 2 layers because it was a little too large. And here I am cutting off one of the leaves because it was just a little too large also. And this succulent did happen to come apart, so I'm just simply taking some hot glue and gluing it all back together. But I did want you to see how that happened, and that you can just glue it back together if you wanted to try this project. And now I'm just simply hot gluing these 2 pieces onto the stand to one side. And how adorable is this cactus decor piece? I think it's fun and quirky. I really love it. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed these modern farmhouse DIY projects. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. Don't forget to check out that next video in this Friend Friday hop. The link will be at the top of the description box. Always look around you for the beauty in your life. It's right there waiting for you to see it. Until the next video, have a great day.